There is a working FM radio inside the phone in your pocket right now, and the company that sold it to you turned it off before it left the warehouse. Not broken, not missing, off. A little tuner chip soldered to the board, capable of pulling in an emergency broadcast from a transmitter 50 miles away without a cell tower, without Wi-Fi, without a single bar of signal. It has been sitting there dark since the day you unboxed the thing, which means the next time the grid drops and the towers go dead and your kids are asking what is happening, the phone in your hand is not the lifeline you think it is. It is a brick with a radio inside that nobody told you how to switch on. That is not a conspiracy. That is a shipping default. And here's the ugly part. When the cell network goes, hurricane, ice storm, wildfire cutting the fiber backhaul, a heat wave overloading the substations, the emergency alerts you are counting on go with it. No push notification tells you the highway is blocked. No text says the water is contaminated. No app loads. Just a phone that used to know everything staring back at you dark. Meanwhile, 12 miles away, a local station is broadcasting exactly the information you need on a frequency your phone can already receive. Before we get back to it, you've seen where this country's been going, and if it ever gets ugly on your street, whatever happens at your door is going to be over long before help shows up. So I wrote it all down. The SHTF Home Defense Manual. 667 pages on protecting your home. Doors, locks, the plan, the law, and the week nobody's coming. The cheap fix is first before anybody sells you a bunker. $47, and the link's right below this video. All right, back to it. You just do not know it. Nobody does. Not until now. No signal, no app, no warning. Just you, a dark handset, and a radio wave passing straight through your ceiling looking for a tuner nobody switched on. Here is the list of everything you fixed tonight. Free, and one thing that costs less than a soda. Here is what the gadget channels will not tell you because they cannot sell it. One item on this list costs $0, takes about 90 seconds, and it is the single move that decides whether your phone is a paperweight or a working emergency receiver when the grid goes. It is a free app, a specific one, and once it is on your device, that dormant tuner wakes up and behaves like a car radio. I am holding it for the end on purpose, because every other trick I hand you is worth a whole lot less if you skip that one. And the reason nobody tells you is straightforward. Nobody makes a nickel when you use hardware you already paid for. There is a whole aisle of $300 tactical emergency radios out there, and a lot of good folks get talked into one, because tactical looks good on camera. Ready does not. I am Rhett Callahan. I run projects at a custom rifle shop outside Knoxville, so just about every piece of gear crosses my bench eventually. I got serious about the communication side the day I had 2 kids asleep down the hall. I did not buy the tactical brick. I read the reports and kept what actually works. So here is where we are going. 8 moves that turn the phone in your pocket into a working emergency setup for the moment the lights go and stay gone. What each one is, exactly what is at stake without it, what it costs, most are free, and where to get it before you sleep tonight. We take them in the order a blackout hits your house. Detect the failure, delay the panic, defend your information supply. Some you have heard, most you have not. And the last one, number 8, is the free 90-second fix I just mentioned. The question is not whether your phone has an emergency radio. It does. The question is whether you can switch it on in the dark with the power out on the worst night of the year. Once you see it that way, you cannot unsee it. The first thing that fails in a real blackout is not the power. It is the assumption that your phone still knows things. Cell towers run on batteries that hold about 4 to 8 hours, and after that, they are dark unless a generator crew reaches them. In a hurricane that took out the fuel trucks, that generator is not coming. Now, the phone in your hand cannot pull a weather alert, cannot reach 911, cannot tell you the boil water order that went out an hour ago, and you have no idea if the piece of hardware that could save you is even in the device. Here's the record. Most Android phones built in the last decade, Samsung Galaxy A series, most LG, Motorola G series, a chunk of the Pixel line before the 4, carry an FM tuner chip from Qualcomm or NXP right on the main board. iPhones since the 7 do not, or the chip is fused off. That is not opinion, that is the teardown data. This is the detect layer of the doctrine. You cannot use a tool you do not know you own. 9 out of 10 folks reading this have the hardware. Roughly none of them know it. The fix is free and it takes 2 minutes. Open your app drawer and search FM radio or radio. On Samsung and Motorola, the app is often already installed and just buried. If nothing shows, pull up your phone model plus FM tuner on any working search and check the teardown. If your model has the chip, we can wake it. That is item 8. If it does not, I'm going to hand you a $20 backup in item 7 that fixes it anyway. Nobody gets left out. $0 to check. 2 minutes. Do it before the next item. 2 minutes. You now know if you own the tool or need the backup. Name another survival check that costs nothing. But knowing you have a radio does not help if you do not know why FM is the one signal that keeps talking when everything else goes quiet, and that is the next one. You lose the power at 11 at night. Phone still works for about 6 hours. Then the tower battery quits, and the little bars in the corner blink out one by one. Your weather app spins forever. Your text to your mother sits there gray. The push notification from the county that would have told you a tornado is headed for your neighborhood is stuck in a queue on a server 2 states away. Meanwhile, the storm sirens do not reach your subdivision, and you are standing in the dark, watching a phone that used to know everything go silent. Here is the engineering. Cellular is a 2-way, low-power, congestion-sensitive network. Every call needs the tower to talk back to your phone, and one down fiber line orphans the whole cell. FM broadcast is a 1-way blowtorch. A single 50,000-watt transmitter reaches 60, 70 miles in every direction, running on backup generators that emergency broadcast stations are legally required to maintain. During Katrina, during Sandy, during the 2021 Texas freeze, FM stations stayed on the air after the cell networks folded. This is the delay layer. You are buying information hours that cellular cannot deliver. That is not a scare figure. That is what happened. The move is free, and it is a phone habit. Tonight, pull up your local NPR affiliate, your primary AM/FM news station, and the National Weather Service radio frequency for your county, the NOAA station near you. Most of the country sits between 162.400 and 162.550 megahertz. Write those 3 numbers on a piece of paper and tape it to the back of a kitchen cabinet. When the power goes and your phone is dark, you are not guessing which frequency to tune. $0. 1 index card. The difference between information and silence. So 911 is a great plan, right up until the honest number in a real blackout runs past 45 minutes. Congratulations. For the first hour, you are the first responder. 1 card. 3 frequencies. A pen. Name a hype machine gadget that beats a pen and a piece of paper. But that card does not matter if you cannot reach it, because in a blackout, your phone's memorized addresses are gone too. And that is the next fix. 3 in the morning, ice storm, power has been out 6 hours. You need to call your brother across town to check on your dad. You go to your contacts and the sync icon just spins. Some phones cache contacts locally, some do not. Some apps store frequency lists in the cloud, and when the cloud is unreachable, they are gone. You are standing in a cold kitchen trying to remember a phone number you have not dialed by hand in 15 years. The people counting on you being ready are the ones you cannot reach, and help in a widespread outage runs past 45 minutes, sometimes hours. Here's the record from every major storm response after action. Congested networks and dead towers push emergency response times from the usual 7 to 10 minutes into the 30, 45, sometimes 90 plus range for suburban calls. In rural counties, it is worse, and every one of those after actions names the same civilian failure. Nobody had numbers on paper. Nobody had frequencies written down. This is where the engineer's rigor matters. The redundancy is not the gadget, it is the offline file. Belt and suspenders. 2 is 1 and 1 is none. You store it in the phone and on paper. The fix costs $1 and change. Open your Notes app, the built-in one, the one that saves locally, not a cloud note. Type in 5 family numbers, 3 neighbor numbers, your doctor, your pharmacy, the NOAA frequency for your county, your top 3 local FM stations, the non-emergency police line, and your utility outage line. Save it, then screenshot it, then print it and put a copy in your wallet. $1 of ink, 90-cent index card. It cannot be taken from you. $1, 1 wallet card. The list nobody can turn off. But a list of frequencies will not help if you cannot find the pharmacy that is still open, because Google Maps does not load without data. And that is the next one, the fix that laughs at cell towers. Highway is blocked. You can see it on the news feed before your data drops. A semi jackknifed at mile 42, 2 more piled behind it, and cars stranded across 3 lanes with people walking between them. That is the picture behind our hero on the thumbnail, and it is not fiction. That is every major evacuation from Houston to Paradise. You need to move your family on side roads you have never driven in the dark with no signal. Google Maps opens to a gray tile. Waze is a spinning wheel. And every second you sit at that intersection is a second the road behind you gets worse. Here is what nobody in the tactical gadget aisle mentions. Google Maps has had an offline download feature for a decade. You pick a region, it caches the whole thing, and it works with GPS alone. No data required. GPS is a satellite system. It does not care about cell towers. Meanwhile, the guys selling you a $600 tactical GPS unit are pushing hardware that does exactly what your phone already does for free. This is the detect layer again. You cannot route around a blocked highway if the phone cannot see the map. Free tool, already installed. 99% of people never touched it. Tonight, not tomorrow. Open Google Maps, tap your profile icon, tap Offline Maps, tap Select Your Own Map. Draw a box big enough to cover your county and the 2 counties you would drive through in an evacuation. Download it on Wi-Fi. Do the same on Apple Maps if you're on iPhone. The feature landed in iOS 17. $0. About 8 minutes and roughly 1 gigabyte of storage. Now your phone routes you around abandoned semis in a dead cell zone. Not because you bought something, because you used what you already own. There is a whole industry selling you a phone to route you around a wreck. It is called the phone you already have. 8 minutes, 1 gigabyte, a phone that navigates a collapsed grid. But a map will not help if the air outside is the thing trying to kill you, because wildfire smoke and chemical releases do not wait for you to check your app, and that is the next fix. Wildfire skips a ridge and now the smoke is on your side of the county. Or a rail car tips outside town and the plume drifts. You wake up at 4 in the morning, your throat is raw, your kid is coughing in the next room, and you do not know if you shelter in place or evacuate. That is why the fellow on the thumbnail is wearing a gas mask. Not because it is cinematic, but because in a bad enough air event, an N95 is the difference between a hospital visit and a normal Tuesday. And the app you would normally check is offline with everything else. Here is the record. During the 2023 Canadian wildfire smoke event, AirNow's servers slowed to a crawl under load in the Northeast. During Palestine, Ohio in 2023, the initial evacuation zone was announced on local FM and NOAA weather radio before it reached most residents' phones. This is where the delay layer meets the defend layer. The information you need to shelter or move is broadcasting on frequencies your phone can receive if you know where to point it. The engineer's rigor. Know the numbers before you need them. 2 moves, both free. 1. On the offline note card from item 3, add the FM frequency of your county emergency management station. Search your county EMA FM frequency tonight and write it down. 2. Add a 5-pack of N95 masks to your kitchen drawer. Not a gas mask, just N95s, the same ones from the pandemic drawer. $5 at any hardware store. In a smoke event or a light chemical release, an N95 sealed to your face for a walk to the car is not tactical, it is just adequate. $5, kitchen drawer, done. $5, 1 drawer. An air problem you are not standing in unprotected. But every fix so far runs on a battery that is shrinking every hour the power is out, and the next one is the difference between 6 hours of information and 6 days. Day 3, grid is still down. Your phone is at 11% and dropping. The flashlight burns battery, the screen burns battery, every check-in burns battery. Meanwhile, the world outside got harder, not easier. The graph on the news last week showed climate models running warmer through the century. Modest warming in the good scenarios, several degrees Celsius in the bad ones by 2100. Not a global freeze, not -20 on a display. But grids running heavier under bigger storms, longer heat waves, blackouts stacking. The gadget sellers show you extinction level because it clicks. The real risk is quieter, outages that last longer than your battery does. Here's the honest picture. Peer-reviewed climate work through 2100 spans roughly 1 to 5+ degrees Celsius of warming depending on emissions paths. And biodiversity work links the upper end of that band to species extinction risk in the double-digit percentages. That is the actual science behind the cinematic extinction level framing. Not a temperature crash, but a warming stack that stresses everything the grid rides on. This is the defend layer of your comm plan. If your phone dies at hour 8, none of the free tricks above matter. The redundancy is a second, tougher device and a battery plan. 2 pieces. 1. A $20 solar power bank at Walmart, the 10,000 milliamp hour kind. It charges slow off sun, but it charges. 2. An old cheap Android. A used Moto G Play runs $60 refurbished, with the FM tuner confirmed, offline maps loaded, and the notes file copied. Turn it off, wrap it in foil, put it in a drawer. That is your backup. Not a rugged tactical brick for $400. A dumb old phone you already have or replace for $60. $80 total. 2 devices, 1 working comm chain, done. $80. 2 devices, 6 days of information instead of 6 hours. But every item on this list assumes your phone has the tuner. What if it does not? Or what if you want a rock solid backup? That is the next one, the $20 failsafe. Some of you checked in item 1 and found out your phone does not have the chip. iPhones, newer Pixels, some carrier-locked models with the tuner fused off at the factory. Now you're reading this and thinking the whole video does not apply to you. It does, because the belt and suspenders rule does not care what phone you own. 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Even if your phone's tuner works fine, the moment it dies, gets dropped in a puddle, or a kid steps on it in the dark, your one channel of information is gone, and the storm does not stop. Here's the record. Every serious emergency management office in the country, FEMA, state EMAs, the Red Cross, recommends a standalone battery and crank AM/FM NOAA radio as household equipment. Not because your phone cannot do it, because redundancy is the whole doctrine. Detect, delay, defend, with 2 channels, not 1. A $20 hand crank radio is not a tactical gadget. It is a boring appliance that turns your grandmother's kitchen into an information node when everything electric quits. And the hype channels will not push it because there is no margin in a $20 radio and no cool factor. Walmart, Amazon, any hardware store. Search hand crank emergency radio AM/FM NOAA weather. You are looking for one with 3 inputs. Solar panel on top, hand crank on the side, USB-C port for wall charging. Running Snail and Midland make solid ones between $18 and $25. Buy the $20 one. Test it tonight. Turn it on. Tune to your county's NOAA weather channel. Confirm you get audio. Put it in the drawer with the N95s. When your phone dies day 3, you crank the handle 60 seconds and get 30 minutes of broadcast. $20. $20. Hand crank. 0 batteries required. Forever. Name a smart home gadget with that shelf life. And now we get to it. Number 8. The free 90-second fix. The one that turns the phone you already own into the emergency radio the manufacturer shipped switched off. You are still reading. Most folks bailed to a shorter video by now, back to assuming the power stays on because it always has. You being this far in already puts you ahead of most of your street. All right, 90 seconds. Free. The fix I have been holding since the start. If item 1 told you your phone has the tuner chip, this is the switch that flips it on. And once you see how simple it is, you will understand why the manufacturer did not make it obvious and why no gadget seller wants you to know. The app is called Next Radio, or on many devices, simply FM radio hidden in the app drawer. Free. Google Play, no subscription. On Samsung, Motorola, LG, install it, plug in wired headphones because the wire is the antenna and it detects the tuner. You are now receiving live FM broadcast with your data off, airplane mode on, cell signal at 0 bars. Free app, free radio, no monthly, no cool font. Here is the moment that fix earns its keep. Grid is down day 2. Your kids are asking questions. Your battery is at 30%, and instead of a dead phone, you tune 91.9 and pull the county emergency broadcast in real time. That is the same broadcast a $300 tactical radio pulls. Same information, same second, same clarity. $0 versus $300. Every trick above, the frequency card, the offline maps, the NOAA number, is worth 10 times more the moment that tuner wakes up. One app, 90 seconds, free. The difference between a dark phone and a working emergency radio the day the grid stops. Name a $300 gadget that does more. There is not one. That is the whole picture. The tuner was in your pocket the entire time, and now you know how to switch it on. I will be straight with you. Most of you will go the next 10 years without a blackout that lasts more than a few hours. The grid holds up better than the doomers say, but most is not all, and the whole list I just walked you through cost under $25 in an evening. Even if I am wrong about your county, what did it cost you? So here's what you do before you sleep tonight. 4 moves under 30 minutes. Search your app drawer for FM radio. Install Next Radio if it is not there. Download your county offline map in Google Maps. Type 5 family numbers, 3 FM frequencies, and your NOAA channel into a local note and screenshot it. That is it. You just moved your household from the folks who assume the phone will always work into the folks who own a working comm plan when it does not. Not because you got scared, because you got ready. Ready beats scared. Ready beats a $300 gadget. Ready beats hoping the tower stays lit every single time. Drop me a comment. Did the FM tuner show up on your phone? And what model are you running? I want the list because there is a pixel-shaped hole in my research and y'all know your devices better than any teardown site. I read every one. Do me one favor, send this to the one person in your family whose phone you know is going to be dark and useless the day the grid goes. Not for me, for them. Next up, we go deeper. The offline apps that turn your phone into a full emergency toolkit. The two-way comms question everyone argues about, and the storage plan that keeps it all alive past day 7. Subscribe so it lands before you need it. Shoot straight, and I will see you at the count.